Hello everyone, StreamTuber7 here. This video is going to be a bit shorter than my usual videos like this, because, oh my gosh, I did so much in this game that I really recorded way too much. I'm just going to have to not try and show you everything I do, because everything I do is going to be just way too much. So I'll start by explaining what I'm doing here. Right now, I'm, as it says in the title, exploring. I'm looking around and in general just admiring the world, because there was a game that I played recently that, and I use this as a wonderful standard because my mother is absolutely by no means a gamer whatsoever, and and just like me, wasn't actually that impressed with Cyberpunk 2077's graphics. But this game in particular, I haven't seen a game with this much detail in over 15 years. And that was at 15 years ago's level of graphical fidelity. Oh, actually no, hold on, that's a little bit inaccurate. I'm sorry. 20 years ago's graphical fidelity. Well, 19. Well, I just did a doctor thing there. But essentially in 2007, Crisis. That's the game that I'm referencing. And oh dear, yeah, I know it's been a while. It's been a while, 2007, oof. But that's the game that I was essentially referencing with the level of graphical fidelity. Also, that guy looks like a wizard, but he's a guard, and I really appreciate the level of medieval flair that they have with everybody. Because the thing about the Middle Ages is that they were colorful, and Hollywood decided to make everything not colorful for some reason. But probably because they just didn't want to outfit all those people in actual colorful outfits. Now, I'm going to do this while also talking at the same time about what I'm looking at. In this particular thing, I looked at the sign at the top because it essentially tells you what type of shop you're going to be going into, because not everybody is literate. And that is one of the things that surprised me about this. Cliff is literate, that's for sure. The read option wouldn't be there if Cliff wasn't literate. But the main thing with this is that everything you see here that has a buy option can be bought. And when you buy it, it's going to be immediately taken away from the shop's inventory in the visible display. Unlike other games where when you buy it, like, it has infinite items, essentially. This game doesn't actually have infinite items. And by the way, there's a reason why I'm narrating the Korean version, and I'm talking over everybody because they're talking in Korean, so you probably can't understand them unless you're a native Korean. I'm glad I discovered this guy early, Ternali, because he is the guy that made me more powerful in my journey across Crimson Desert's gamescape. He is one of the most important people in the Middle Ages. A blacksmith. Without a blacksmith, you don't have an army. And without an army, you don't have defense. And without defense, you don't have land. And that's one of the main things. Oh my gosh, I am so... Oh, see, I just did it there. I was looking for murder holes in the above there. But this is one of my favorite aspects of the opposite end of my space obsession and infinite passion. And that is this particular lifestyle. I absolutely love the time period of 1044 to 1644. And that time period is a time period when the entire world was still in flux in ways that us modern people have no way of really, truly understanding. The world wasn't circumnavigated until at least 300 years ago. No, damn. See, that's it. Just did it again. 500 years ago. That's it. It's just, we have so many things we take for granted. The fact that this planet is circumnavigated wasn't a thing 500 years ago. So, that's one of the things that I also look for, is the maps. If you have a map in a game like this, it'll tell you exactly what type of world you're in. And there is the very first actual castle we will ever see in this game. Hernand Castle. And this one is going to be the main centerpiece of a lot of this game. Which also kind of leads to the joke as to why people can call it Crimson Hernand instead of Crimson Desert. But also, if we're being actually technical, there isn't anything crimson about Hernand, so technically it should just be called Castle Hernand instead of Crimson Hernand. But that's just me being more autistic than the entire community seems to be able to be for some reason. It's amazing what people can do when they have infinite creativity and a lot of time. Also, this sequence right here is based directly on the way that we look. So, we look like a Greymane, which is to say, we're somebody who is off the streets and barely looks like we have any semblance of, well, a copper, a silver, or even, oh my gosh, is that a gold bar? So, what I did was, for my earlier questing, I got a Hernand outfit. The armor that I was wearing was not fancy enough. So, because I didn't have to do much more than chimney sweep to get this outfit, it was easy to get into Hernand. But that's just it. You can't just walk into Hernand. One cannot simply walk into Hernand. You have to be respectable, quote unquote. Or at least look like you're not going to immediately bandit the place, which is why the response changed here.
确认完毕。别惹事。开门，进去吧。
Man, I do not want to be under those things when they go down. I mean, if that's what they're for, is you don't want to be under them. But back to talking about this wonderful castle. Now that we're actually inside of the main fortress area of the castle. Oh, wait, no, stop everything. I forgot to talk about one of the best features of Crimson Desert Online. I mean, Crimson Desert Offline. See, I did it again. Back when it was first founded, it was an MMO, but it turned into a single player. You can pet animals in this game. You can pick up animals in this game. And you can adopt animals as your companion. Technically, they have been slowly increasing the amount of animals that you can adopt as I play this game. This game started on patch 1.000 or whatever. This version is still, I think, the third patch that they made, 1.03. And right now I'm playing on patch 1.08 and keeping it that way, not updating it anymore. But I really want to have a slight calico and a black cat that's not the abyssal cat. Because the abyssal cat isn't technically probably really actually a cat. These cats are actual real cats. I'll have to explain what I mean by the abyssal cat later, because it's not something that shows up for a really long time. A lot of people are like, hey, don't miss this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't really know how to follow guides unless I, like, decide that I'm going to be doing something in a very specific way. But I don't really have the problems that most other people have when playing games like this, because I am playing it for a story, but there's so many stories that are told that just people don't look for. I'll put it that way. People don't look for them. So this Calico. I hope to find this Calico again. Oh, stop it, you. It actually treated it like I bumped the cat, which is as good as pushing the cat and throwing it against the wall, apparently. But every single type of cat that I meet will be indexed and treated as a species variant. I wanted to see if the cat would go through the gate. The cat apparently follows the same rules we do, which made me laugh my ass off at this point in time when I was first playing it. Because there's no reason why a cat wouldn't go through those gates. But because I can't go through the gates, the game has locked that area in a specific way that all of these NPCs, including the animals, hilariously still follow the same rules that I have to follow. In some games, you'll see people walking straight past areas that you literally, yourself, cannot go through. And you're just like... and there's no reason for it. Some games give you an explanation, but others are just like, nope, sorry. That area's blah, 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 closed, exploded, whatever. And also, here's the second cat. I figure you could find cats in high places, and I was like, wonder where I can find another cat. But on top of the well? No, cat, no, come back! Oh, but I don't really want to chase the cat. But it's an orange cat, so I figure I could probably spot it by visual. And I lost it. But that just means that even orange cats still have natural camouflage in grass. So far we've seen an orange cat, a calico cat. The next cat that we're going to see is an ashen cat, which is I think it's technically sort of a variation of a domestic short hair gray. But it could also be a slight version of a Russian blue due to the, let's say, extra fluffiness of the tail versus the short-hairedness of the short hair. But you might notice, it says go to Hernand Castle, and we're in Hernand Castle. So that's the other thing about the directions in this game. They may tell you to go to a place, but once you're there, you may have to figure out more on your own. So I decided, did I not go to the right place? Because there's two areas that indicate where you should go or where you can go. The white fuzzy area is specifically a mystery, secret, something. Usually a teleporter pad or something like that. But the other thing is the golden fuzzy. And the golden fuzzy in pretty much every single past game of this type is the, okay, go here, this is where your objective is. We're highlighter markering it for you. Because we don't want you to just continuously wander everywhere. And this is the second time I get stopped, but I have respectable clothing, so it's understandable.
The
transition into real technical gameplay starts when I actually switch the language to English. Oh my gosh, those arrow slits are absolutely horrible. You can see why I took out my bow, right? Because those are arrow slits. And NPCs actually do react to you having your weapon out. Just like real people would when somebody suddenly frickin' draws a bow. I mean, how would you react if somebody came into your area and just randomly drew a longbow? Just no explanation, they just started drawing a longbow. That's basically what happened there. And now we're inside the actual manor castle part of what technically makes a castle a castle. The walls and the surrounding fortress area don't technically make a castle a castle. This building as a residence that is surrounded by walls and possibly has a farm somewhere is what makes this a castle. And I had some fun here. Just, you know, what type of prank is it to where you go to somebody's castle and you just light all of their candles? They're like, wait, did my maids do this? Who lit all these candles? And that's just one of the most middle-class rich things that I thought of so far from this perspective. So yeah, I decided to see how many candles I could turn on and lanterns before I got bored. And it turns out there wasn't actually too many, but there was still a decent amount. And the other thing I did was, I noticed something about this particular lighting. Can you spot the specialness of this lighting before I say it? Says Dora the Explorer.
艾伦·瑟金斯侯爵，斯特兰·兰福德侯爵，我们这儿的大人物可真多呀！去大宅附近的话，说不定会
Okay,
遇到那些
so the
尊贵
thing
的
about that lighting is that it has a fully internalized system that cannot be an open flame, because an open flame still needs oxygen to live. That light source is completely enclosed. So unless they have air slits on that lantern, there's something specific about that lantern that I'm still not going to say. Oh, yeah. Shadows in this game are a little bit weird, but they're also still pretty dang good for what they have. And the way that they generate them as well is probably similar to how they generate water, which is amazing looking, by the way. We haven't gotten to that yet. But once we do get to the water, you're going to see why I am absolutely in love with the water here. And there's another lantern on. And, by the way, there's a little bit of a personal reason as to why I have fun lighting other people's lanterns in games like this. In the game Thief: The Dark Project from 1996, there is a specific mechanic based around extinguishing light sources to conceal yourself. I have never, ever seen another game, possibly besides this one. I haven't actually seen them do it yet, but I've seen them take out their torches at night. I think that they don't manually relight things, but in Thief: The Dark Project, every single guard at night actually uses their torch to light other lights. And I'm just shocked by the fact that more games don't do that. It's not like it's a whole thing that's like needed or required, but it's just one of those things to where when it's not there, it's noticed. It really, really, really is noticed. So I'm probably going to have to just casually guard stalk at some point during the middle of the shift to see if they actually do light torches and things at night. Not torches, lanterns. Because the way that we light them is with the flint and steel. And I'm wondering if they just hold their lantern... Not lantern. Well, it could be the lantern if it's a gas lantern. But if they hold their torch up to a torch. Because that will be one of the final aspects of... This really cements the most mundane, most trivial, but real aspect of what makes something realistic, but also enjoyable. The one thing that a lot of these games have is a balance, and that balance is between how realistic do we make it versus how much do we allow the player to do. This game achieves that balance wonderfully. There are so many things you can do in this game that the number of things you can't do really doesn't matter. Like, I can pick up most things, but I can't pick up this statue. I can't even closely examine that statue, like you could in some other games. Like they say, ooh, look at our fancy artwork for our statue. But that's just... No, this is a rich person's house. You can admire that statue, and that's it. So, you have statues. Oh my gosh, what in the heck is with all these different styles of lanterns in the same room? I mean, I kind of did that too, but I have no money. This is an entire castle. That's so weird. Anyway, back to lighting more lanterns because I like lighting. It casts a nice, lovely orange glow. Man, there's so many locked doors in this castle. Imagine that. But, what is this? Where am I? Use the special key to go through the Shining Gate. What? Shining Gate. That Shining Gate? Oh, I don't see a Shining Gate. I see some books over here. I see some more books over here. I also see some interesting things over here. Ooh, some quills. That chair is also pretty interesting. I don't think I'm gonna walk through that gate for now. What Shining Gate? Ooh, there's a treasure chest here for me. See, if we walked through the gate, we would have missed that treasure chest. Abyss artifact. Oh man, those are going to be interesting. Abyss artifacts are going to be the most valuable currency next to gold, silver, and platinum. So, are we gonna go through the gate? Not this episode! But we will eventually go through the gate. So, that's all I have to say for now, and thank you very much for joining me in this month-long, and it's going to be a very much longer than a month-long adventure in Crimson Desert. This has been Extreme Tuber 7. Bye-bye.